The Toronto Police Hold-Up Squad is looking for the public's assistance in trying to identify a person that they believed to be responsible for 2 TTC collector booth robberies that occurred in August of 2013. The first robbery occurred at the Chester subway stop, which is on the Danforth Bloor line, on August 6th, just before midnight, approximately 11 p.m. A male suspect, which is the bottom picture on the screen beside me, who was heavily disguised, approached the TTC collector in the booth, produced a semi-automatic type black handgun with his one hand, and made a demand for cash. The suspect did get away with the sum of cash and Metro passes. There was no injuries, but as you can see, the person involved in this robbery is heavily disguised. He's also wearing on his left hand a garden glove, I'd call it, a white garden glove with a gray palm. His right hand is barehanded, and that's the hand that he held the gun in. Subsequently, on the 26th of August, just around midnight, before midnight, we believe it's the same person, which is the top picture, again wearing the dark clothing, a paisley-type bandana over the face, armed with a similar handgun with the white glove with the gray palm on the left hand, approached the TTC collector booth at the Christie station, which is on the Bloor-Danforth line, and again made a demand for cash and Metro passes. The suspect managed to escape. There was no injuries in either one of these robberies. From the victims' descriptions, they're consistently saying that they believe the suspect is a male white, 25 to 30 years, 5'10" to 6 feet height, wearing a black toque, a paisley typed bandana covering the lower portion of the face, with the white glove on the white glove with the gray palm on the left hand, and the semi-automatic type handgun. We're hoping that with the media's assistance and the public's assistance, somebody may be able to tell us who this individual is, whether they overheard conversations or they recognize the facial parts that are visible, the eyebrows and eyes of this individual matching with the height and weight. And we're hoping that with that assistance, if somebody can call Crime Stoppers or the Toronto Hold-Up Squad, so we can put our investigators in action on this case. Questions?
Why are you coming out strong on this one, this particular one? Two hold-ups?
Well, we don't get a lot of TTC collector booth hold-ups to begin with. They're very rare. The ones that we do have, as we all know, the one that is outstanding is the 272 DuPont Street robberies. There was 2 in 2011, and then February 26, 2012, the collector was shot. So we do take a very big interest in these robberies. We're still trying to put together some suspects on the 272 DuPont one. And now we have another serial, as I'd say, starting up here that did 2 in August, and we're trying to prevent it from becoming more of a serial and try and nip it before he gets carried away.
Do you think he's related to the DuPont?
To me, he doesn't fit the same height and weight descriptions. The DuPont one was consistently somewhere around 5'5", 5'6", very heavy build. Couldn't really tell whether it was a male or female. There was descriptions of both. This individual is described as taller, thinner. Are they connected? I'm not saying they're not. I mean, they could be somebody that knows somebody. They could be friends. They could be acquaintances. We can't. I can't tell you that at this point in time. But they're definitely heavily disguised. I'm sure that the individuals know that there's cameras in these TTC facilities, and very good cameras, as you can see. So they're prepared. It's premeditated. Yes?
Will the TTC be doing anything extra to ensure the safety of their employees? You'd
have to talk to Brad Ross from the TTC about anything that the TTC is taking on top of this.
Like, was the second robbery also with the semi-automatic?
Yes. The gun is similar in both. And if you recall back to 272 DuPont, there was a revolver-type firearm that was used in those robberies. In 2013, I believe we've only had 5 collector booth robberies that have occurred in the entire year, which is, again, there's not very many for the amount of TTC collector booths that are in the city. So there is precautions that no doubt have been taken, and there's still not an ideal place to rob, obviously.
What
Does it say that this individual had a semi-automatic, about the type of weapon that they had?
Pardon me?
What does it say about the situation that the suspect was armed with a semi-automatic?
Well, our concern is obviously it's a real gun. Is he going to use it? We want to make sure we get him off the streets before this escalates or goes any further, or we have any other robberies like this. Anybody that commits a robbery with a firearm, we always are concerned about the use of that firearm if there's any resistance or hesitation by the victims.
Sorry, you might have already, could you just tell us what was the total amount that was taken?
I don't make comment on the amount of money. There was cash and Metro passes stolen during these robberies, and in each case, the victims complied, which they're trained to do.
But no one was injured at all?
No injuries.
Was this guy caught on video? Could we trade, there's video cameras everywhere.
This is the best we have other video of this individual, and what I'm saying is he came prepared. Like, this was premeditated. It wasn't that on my way home, let me pull out my gun and do a robbery. This individual came prepared to rob these TTC collector booths. The disguise was already on when we first pick him up in the cameras.
What about people, witnesses who may have noticed someone walking down the street? I mean, where did he put the disguise on? He entered the station in August dressed like that. That would be suspicious for sure.
Well, it's late at night. It's just before midnight in both robberies, so I'm not too sure about the pedestrian traffic. We don't have a lot of witnesses that have, or very few that have actually seen this individual prior to the robbery or after the robbery.
You think he's done it other jobs, or just these?
Well, it's always in the back of my mind. Anybody that commits, a robbery, 2 robberies a month apart, what else are they doing? We don't have anything that is actually similar to this that we can say for sure, but we're always looking at other robberies with these individuals because a lot of them become serial quite quickly.
Mike, you sure it's a guy?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm going by what the victims have we can go by the best evidence. The best evidence is the eyewitnesses that listen to the voice and see the movement at the time. Anybody that disguises himself this well, it could be either, in my view, but I have to go by what the witnesses have told me.
Do you know which way he exited? Did he go?
No, I don't.
Videotape?
I can make arrangements for through Corpcom to get some video.
Could it be a toy gun?
Anything's possible. I mean, to me, it looks real, and I'm sure to the collector and the victims it looks real. So, in all intents and purposes, if somebody's going to point a gun at you that looks real, you have to take it for real and comply. If there's no further questions?
What are the chances that, this could be, I know you spoke to it earlier, but it's somewhat related to the DuPont shooting? I mean, both serial type of events.
It's definitely not this, in my view, it's definitely not the same person because it's quite obvious the different structure of the individuals. But I'm not saying that, I'm not ruling out the fact that this individual doesn't have an acquaintance that's the other individual. I mean, we've had cases before in the past over my years of investigating robberies that this type of thing has happened.
The other thing is the time. I mean, they both seem to happen near the beginning of the month. All these robberies where Metro passes were being purchased at a large amount by people. Is that something that you're looking into in terms of the timing and linking?
Well, it's something that's always in the back of our mind, right? I mean, we don't know until we actually apprehend the guy or the individual what their intention was. Sure, they could plan that knowing that at that time. Maybe he's a Metro Pass holder and he knows that this is the time of the month they make the purchases. All right?
You feel this could escalate? You're worried?
Well, that's my concern. Right now, we've had 2 in August and we're trying to get ahead of this and hopefully we can capture this individual or get some leads on him before he strikes again. All right, thank you very much.